recording the Lance segment of the power rankings for UBDL Season 11. We're just going to go in draft order, starting with Pixel Master 999. So, Frost, let's get your first thoughts on this team.
Spidops.
Spidops is indeed a Pokemon. Um, I think this team has a lot of really good support. They have like the Intimidate Fake Out Parting Shot from Incineroar. They have Torn Tailwind, and they have Milotic, which I think is a really good bulky pivot. Um, and a Spother, which is like speed boost. They can do hypnosis stuff. I think this team is solidly built, but I don't think it has enough offense, and I think it's a little bit too centric on win cons with Archelodon. Overall, I think we agreed that we would put it in like low B tier.
Mhm.
Okay, so moving on to the Salty Slowkings. This is a gravity team, and I love me some gravity. So the strategies I think that S-Frog are going for here are gravity Sandsear Storm to have 100% accurate Sandsear Storms. And then also like with the Flapple, I think its signature move has increased damage. Um, this also has some balance with like Empoleon Arcanine and a trickery mode with Uxie, Rampardos, and Crabominable. What do you think about this team?
I like it. Clefairy's good support. So Sableye with Prankster Quash.
Yeah.
Arcanine's great just as an intimidator and great move pool. And Squawkabilly is there.
Squawkabilly's good as a low tier pick. It also has Intimidate, Final Gambit stuff. And I think it won, or it didn't win, but it got a really high placement in a regional last year. I think it was like a Scarf Tailwind set, so it does have some value. But yes, Clefairy, the Friend Guard Follow Me is always really valuable. I personally think that Clefable is a better pick in draft because I think it is just more flexible, and Clefable went unpicked in this draft, but that's just me. I think I would give this like low A tier pick. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with low to mid A tier.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, cool. Then we have Storm's team, the Archangels. This is a rain team, and it leans very hard into rain. It has Ogerpon Wellspring. Well, first we should start with Politoed to set up the rain. Ogerpon Wellspring, that's a good bulky pivot, redirector, and also is going to be doing a lot of damage with Ivy Cudgel in the rain. And then Zapdos has 100% accurate Thunders and Hurricanes in rain. So I think that's a pretty solid core. But then I think the rest of the team leans a little bit too hard into rain. What do you think?
I like the Overquill since it's like the only not water type Swift runner, but I don't get why Overquill picks is there.
Yeah, I don't get that either. It feels like kind of self-sabotage because you have another weather setter. Um, there's no snow mode. Like this team doesn't have a slush rush Pokemon like Beartic or Alolan Sandslash. So I don't get that pick either. Doesn't really make sense
I
to
think
me.
it's just supposed to be a filler pick, but you could still get like a solid Mon out of D tier.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think another thing, like Azumarill is a good Pokemon and it'll do a lot of damage on Rain, but it kind of feels like an overlapped role with Ogerpon a little bit. Um, I feel like Lombre, again, that's another low tier pick that I feel could have been higher value because you already have Fake Out and you already have a Swift somewhere on this team. So I don't know. I feel the team leans just a little bit too heavily into Rain. Um, where do you think this team would fit on the rankings?
I think it's slightly above Salty Slopings.
You think it's A?
I think it might. I don't know because without the rain, it's going to be really hard to win. But with the rain, it's in a really good spot.
It is. I was thinking more of B tier because I think it's just very hard to win consistently with rain in draft or with weather in draft. But you're right that it does, it is very strong. It supports itself very well. Um, I'll put it low A for now. We can come back to that. Okay. So we have the Virginia Vibe Bravos next. Another rain team, actually. So if we compare these two rain teams, which one do you like more? I guess is a good way to start.
I like Storm's team better, but I'm also very biased since he's like my close friend and all.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, well, sorry to Storm, but I think that Jeremy's team is just a little bit stronger and more balanced. I think it has the better Swiss swimmer in Kingdra, um, and Ludicolo. I think Overquill is going to struggle to do damage in rain because it doesn't have stab on its water moves and it has like relatively weak coverage. Whereas Kingdra is gonna be firing off stab, hydro pumps, Draco Meteors, and then also Hurricane. Ludicolo is like probably the fastest fake out you can have in rain. Um, Pelipper sets Tailwind. I feel Pelipper is a better Pokemon overall than Politoed. And this team functions better outside of rain, which is why I like it more because it has like Roaring Moon. Um, but those are just my thoughts. Um, I think if we're divided on this one, we could just put them kind of together. So double up on the
Yeah, that's
A's.
fair.
Um,
I think it could go a bit above. I did lose to this team like just yesterday after all.
oh, really? Okay, I'll put it above the other rain team. All right. Next we have CJ, the Shining Renegades. So this is a snow team with Vexcalibur. I think that is where the strength of this team lies. Um, I don't get the fit of almost every other Pokemon. I'm gonna be honest. How about
I
you?
don't get the wheezing. A lot of these mons really want their abilities, like
Yes.
Snow Warning or Inner Focus on Mold Breaker. I don't know, but
Yeah.
why would you want to get rid of them?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It feels I don't feel that there's like a great fit for Weezing on this team. I also think that Baxcalibur and Dragonite kind of double up on roles, and I feel Dragonite could have been substituted for a completely different role that this team doesn't have. Um, and speaking of roles that this team doesn't have, there is no Trick Room setter, which I think is not always a bad thing, but this team does have Flareon, which is a really good value low tier pick. I think if you have a Trick Room setter. So I was just questioning that a bit. Again, doubling up on roles. There's some anti-synergy with Weezing. I like Tinkaton here, but yeah, it just feels a little bit awkward. I think I would have this team in the C tier
Yeah,
because Bexcalibur and Ninetales is still a really solid snow core. But Florian made some trades, I think, with this team before week one. I really liked the team where it was at because it had Gouging Fire over Gyarados, and it had or, yeah, Gouging Fire over Gyarados and Ogerpon and Teal Mask over Entei. I thought that was a really solid core, and now I'm kind of struggling to see the identity of this team. Um, what do you think about this team?
I can't tell if it's supposed to be like hyper offense or if it's Trick Room because Conkeldur's a really good like facade guts mon, but their only Trick Room setter is Galarian Articuno.
Yes, that's correct. And yeah, I mean, like it has redirection with Electabuzz, it has Intimidate with Gyarados. Um, I other than that, like it just feels like this is a team that was not put together correctly. And Florian is a friend, but I'm sorry, I don't really understand what this team is going for. um, I actually had them as the lowest ranked team, so I would put them below CJ's team.
I feel like they're trying to do something. It's like there's a checklist and they hit every box, but they hit the box in the wrong way.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. One checkbox that they don't hit as well is they don't have fake out on this team. Um, so next to Articuno, which doesn't have like priority tailwind or like a reliable way to set trick room sometimes. Um, because is this a ghost type or is it a psychic type? I think it's a
Psychic.
psychic type. Yeah, so it's not immune to fake out. I think you really kind of want to fake out Pokemon on this team. Be to make Articuno's job easier of setting either tailwind or trick room, but he doesn't have one. Um, I don't get this team. I liked the trades. I mean, I liked the team before the trades better than what it is now. Um, I'm just gonna put it C tier. And we're up to you, Frost. So I'm gonna let you talk about your team.
I feel like I can't really rank my team because I'm gonna be very biased. Like, oh, put me at the top. But I got Iron Boulder. It's a great hyper offense mon. Can protect. Rock type's a really good offensive typing. Talonflame is just for some nice Gale Wing Tailwind because without it, I would kind of be without speed patrol. I like Wacko Ball. It's a nice setup sweeper or snowball sweeper with Moxie, Aqua Step, Choice Band. But it also gets some other good stuff like it gets Flip Turn, U Turn, it gets Close Combat, Brave Bird. Gardevoir is nice because I don't think I have an actual offensive fairy type. Morgrim's more just there for screens. Superior is a really good contrary user, and for C tier, it's a steal, especially now that it gets like stellar stellar Terra.
Yep.
Sleepy Hisui is like my only steel type. It's nice though because of its EV light and then body press acid armor sets. And Armors is my main fire type attacker. Talonflame is more like supportive, tailwind, get it up, and then go down immediately. Where Armors can kind of like attack.
Yeah.
Armor Cannon's nice, Psychic, Psyshock. Jolteon is a great choice specs user, and it's kind of like a budget Regieleki in a way.
Hmm.
The low kicks kind of just rounds out the team. You need another C tier.
For sure. I think that your team really covers for the weaknesses of the other mons very well. So, like for example, Iron Boulder like does really badly in the steel types, but you have Talonflame with Flare Blitz, you have Quaquaval with Close Combat or whatever it may be. I think also this team, like if you're prepping against a team that isn't like defensively sound, I think this team will really excel because you have offensive coverage from a lot of different types. Like you have the grass coverage, you have the water fighting, fire flying, rock psychic, fairy psychic. You have the electric from Jolteon. I feel like it's not going to be an easy team to prep for. The priority tailwind is really nice, and also Morgrim is. I love Morgrim. I want to lead with Morgrim. It's like a super good low tier mon for screens and prankster Thunderwave and stuff. So I really like this draft. I think I would have this like probably high B tier or low A tier. I'll put it low A tier for now. All right. So moving on to the Trick Room team. This is another team that you said that you really liked. So why don't you talk about this one?
Well, it has two trick room setters, and they're both pretty good. So you can like you have the flexibility of choosing. Oh, do I want to bring Cresselia this match or Dusclops this one? Skeleton is just great because of its Unaware, and then Torch Song. Ursaluna Blood Moon is a really scary mon to go up against with Trick Room because of some like assault vest sets where it refuses to die, or you can have like a throat spray more offensive set.
Yep.
I like the Appletone. It's nice coverage, dragon type, so it's gonna have not, I guess coverage.
Yeah.
Pachirisu is there for redirection, and I don't get why Flamigo's there, but he's there.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the same boat. I really like the trigger mode with Cresselia Ursaluna. I feel both Cresselia and Dusclops weren't necessary because they both kind of are passive trick room setters that don't really apply much offense. I would have just went for Cress Ursaluna if I were Toaster Sand King because I think that like Lunar Blessing with Ursaluna just kind of makes that mon unkillable. So I really like the start. The execution of most of the rest of the draft I don't love because it's like you have to Titan without a snow setter. You have Flamigo without like a mon that sticks out as something that is going to be a setup mon on the physical side. I think Flamigo is there to copy Belly Drums to Titans boosts, but I don't feel that this team really supports either of them that well. Um, Pachirisu is a really good value redirector. I really like that pick. But this is another Trick Room team without Fake Out, so it is a little awkward. Um, I had this team in the B tier. How about you? Where would you put this one?
Yeah, B tier seems pretty fair.
Okay. On to Womble. Um, so I actually think this team is pretty sound offensively. You have the Chiyu with Prankster, Tailwind, Sunny Day, and Fake Tears Illumise. Um, you also have Latios, which has an extremely wide move pool, and both offensively and for support options, good tailwind setter, very bulky, and hits very hard. Um, you support those mons with Primarina and Torterra to complete the Fire, Water, Grass core with Chiyu. You have Mousehold, which I think doesn't always need to run the Friend Guard redirection set on this team. I think it can also catch opponents off guard with the Hot Bomb set. And then you complete the Fairy Dragon Steel core with Ready Steel, which I think is a really good value in B tier. Um, I had this team as the best in the draft, but I I don't know for sure. What do you think about this one? Like where would you tier it?
It seems really good, but I feel like it doesn't have an outstanding trick room setter like Cresselia or Dusclops. Probably because Toaster Sand King took them all. But like Primarina and Portera, Luxor are really good core for Trick Room.
Yep.
Registeel's nice, but I don't see like Dusknoir, Torterra, and Luxor really working without it.
Yeah,
Unless you're running like Shell Smash Torterra.
I can see that. I think Dusk Noir is a decent trick room setter. It's immune to fake out and it's pretty bulky. But yeah, maybe this team doesn't support itself that well. I think maybe high A tier.
Yeah, high tier seems fair.
On to Trip. Um, so I think I think this team has the bones of a really, really good team. Like you have Rillaboom and Rotom, which cover for each other's weaknesses very well, I think. Sneasler, Rillaboom, you can do the Grassy Seed, Unburden stuff. That's double fake out as well. I think Garchomp is another mon that really covers for the steel types that Rillaboom doesn't like, and the dragon types that both Rillaboom and Rotom don't like. Um, I think that's a really good four mon core as your four top picks. Driftblim, another Unburden user. I feel that two of them is probably a little greedy and unnecessary, but this is also, I think, the only Trick Room setter and Tailwind setter, unless I'm mistaken. on this team. So it does seem very valuable for this comp. There's Intimidate with Crocodile, but they're and Grand Bull. Um, I think if I were Trip, I would try to drop like I think I would try to trade Monkey Dory, maybe Crocodile, and try to get some other roles because it feels Monkey Dory has an overlapping role with Sneasler as like a poison type fake out user and Crocodile as like a ground type. The double ground type with on a team with Rillaboom is a little weird because I feel like Garchomp and Crocodile might want to click Earthquake next to Discharge Rotom, but then if you switch in Rillaboom, then you're just weakening the power of Earthquake, so it feels a little weird. Um, what do you think about this team?
I like it, but I think they needed like more consistent way to set up Tailwind. Because other than Drifblim's ghost typing kind of making it immune to fake out, it's not in a great spot because it'll probably get doubled up every time it tries to go for it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think like with Monkey Dory, Sneasler, and Rillaboom, it does have triple fake out, but even with the high HP stat, Drifloon is not the bulkiest Pokemon there is. So like I think it can be annoying trying to figure out what the set is, and it can be disruptive with Strength Sap, but um maybe not the best Pokemon to hinge almost all of your speed control on. So I
I
think
think their team
I
would.
sorry, go ahead.
Uh,
No, you go ahead.
well, I think their team would really benefit from dropping Monkey Door for just like a stronger talent setter.
Yeah, I agree with you. I put this team in low B tier.
Yeah, it would be your team's good.
Okay. Second to last team is the Miami Metagross. This is another strong team, I think, defensively. It has the Trick Room mode with Comfey as the setter, Hariyama as the fake out user, and Araquanid and Metagross. I think that's a very strong Trick Room core. But this team also has a fast core with Ogerpon, Hearthflame, and Hydreigon that I think is going to be very overwhelming offensively in some games. So, really cool tail room team. And they have another mode with Hippowdon Regirock, just making Regirock extremely bulky and trying to stay on the field as long as possible, chip things down with sand. Thoughts on this team?
I think it's a really strong team, especially with like Metagross Hydreigon being able to cover for each other's weaknesses pretty well. At least Metagross or Hydreigon. And I like the Araquanid Ogerpon picks.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, I had this team in high B tier, but I think the way we rank these teams, I think I might put this one in A tier as well.
Yeah, this one's like a mid A tier, I think.
Yeah, okay. And last but not least, we have Evan. Um, Flutterman King Gambit to start is a great core, and then you follow that up with Latias. That's your Fairy Dragon Steel core as your first three picks. I think um this team really covers for its weaknesses very well. King Gambit hates the fighting moves. Fluttermane and Latias eat them up. The ground moves that King Gambit doesn't like, Latias can switch in on them. Um, and then you follow it up with Glamora, which I think is a good secondary, like, it's kind of like a good secondary offense generator. Um, I like the idea of toxic spikes, but this team isn't like really stally at all. So I don't know if you're gonna get the most out of Glamora, but Porygon Z I think is a really good pick. That thing is gonna be super strong with Terra. Typhlosion, Feraligatr, and Sceptile form a cool Fire, Water, Grass starter core, so you can do pledge stuff, which might catch some opponents off guard, but I don't know how good those Pokemon are on their own. I think there's probably more value to be had in other picks. And then Whiscash and Minior. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think those are very good Pokemon, but uh, curious to get your thoughts on this team.
I think it's pretty good. I see Glamora being more like corrosion, spam, mortal spin, but I
Yeah.
don't think they have a Tailwind segment unless Latias gets it.
What move?
Oh, Latias does get Tailwind.
Tailwind. Yeah. Yeah. There is Tailwind. I don't think there's Trick Room. Oh, Fluttermane gets
Flutter
Trick
Man's
Room.
the only.
Yeah. So I think King Gambit Trick Room is a mode that is possible to go for. I've used King Gambit Trick Room before. I think it's fun, very strong, but obviously not always like the best way to use King Gambit. So um, I think there's a lot of different modes this team can go for. It's flexible, um, but maybe could have gotten some better value out of the lower picks. I had this team as a
Definitely.
I had this team as a high B.
Yeah, I see high B.
Okay, perfect. So here's our tier list. Um, go argue in the Discord. I will not listen.